And you're in part 3 of my SolveMe Mobiles algebra tutorial. So we're using the tools and the knowledge that we have to try to figure out how to solve these puzzles algebraically. These tools at the bottom are really helpful. The eraser, the pencil tool, you can choose different colors. So a refresher, we know that the left side of our scale must equal the right side. It must equal the right side of our scale. Okay? So when I'm looking at this, I'm looking for similarities. I don't know, for example, I don't know what these blue triangles weigh, but I know it tells me the red circle is worth 4. Okay? If I was to write an equation for each side of this balance, it would look something like this. So let me just pull out a pencil here. I've got one red circle, plus 2 triangles equals something. I don't know how much this side weighs actually, but I do know that this side has to weigh the same as this side. So I could write this. I could write that the right side, the one circle, this is supposed to be a circle. That looks a terrible circle, but there, I'll just kind of fill it in, and it made it look worse. But plus 2 triangles equals the weight of 4 circles. That's supposed to be a circle again. Oh my goodness, it turned it into a square. You get the idea. It gives us a clue. There's always going to be some sort of clue. The clue is that a circle weighs 4. So if I was just focusing on this side of the equation, I could say that those 4 circles equals something, and it gives us the weight. So 4, I'm going to use the substitution rule. I'm going to plunk in that this circle is worth 4. I'm going to try to draw a tiny little 4 in here. It's worth 4. Now 4, this doesn't mean 4 plus 4. That's another rule of algebra. If you have an unknown and there's a number 4 in front of it, it means 4 times whatever that unknown is. It's 4 times the weight of a red circle. So this actually means 4 times 4. Okay. So this side must equal 16. And that seems really obvious that, you can't just, it's not like 44 or 4 plus 4 that you would add these all up or in essence multiply them. But trust me, these are the basics of algebra. 4 red circles means 4 times 4, 16. So that means this side of the equation, it has to weigh the same as this side. Remember, it's a balance. If this side was heavier, it would be sagging down. It would be pulling the balance down. If it was lighter, it would be way up in the sky, and this side would be pulling it down. So this side has to equal 16. So that means the one red circle on this side plus the 2 triangles equals, it has to equal 16. It has to equal that. That was our answer for the other side. The 4 circles that we drawn up here, it equals 16. One red circle equals 4. So we know that. It gives us that information. So in other words, I can replace this part of the equation, this part right here, it's just one red circle. And in fact, in math, they don't write the number 1 in front of these things. They just leave it as red circle. Why even write the 1? It's just red circle. If there's no number in front of it, we assume it's just 1. So red circle is worth 4. We've got 2 triangles here. And if we add up those masses, it has to equal 16. Now, like I was saying before in our previous video, it gets to the point where it gets harder to see what the value of the unknown is. We have to use algebra here. The rule of opposites. I've got a 4 here. It's a positive 4. We haven't done negative numbers yet. It's a positive 4. So how do I get rid of a positive 4? I'm going to subtract it. I just want to get rid of it. Right? Goodbye. The goal is to get the triangle all by itself. Look at this. This is the goal. You want to have triangle equals something. You don't want a 4 and a 2 in front of it. You got to get rid of those things. So I've got a 4 here. I got to subtract the 4. But remember, if you do that to this side of the equals sign, if you do it to the left side, you have to repeat it to the right side. Okay, well, if you're subtracting something, you have to do it to both sides. 4 take away 4 is just 0. So 0, I don't even need to write it. It just leaves me with 2 triangles equals 12. Because 16 take away 4 right here. 16 take away 4 is 12. Now 2 triangles weighs 12. Right? And in my head, I'm doing the math. I know 2 times something equals 12. But let's pretend we don't know the answer. Okay? So we're going to pretend that 2 times something that we don't know equals 12. It's the rule of opposites. What's the opposite of multiply? You can't see the multiply symbol here, but it's implied when you have a number next to one of these colorful shapes. The opposite of multiply is divide. Okay? I want to get rid of the 2. I want to keep the triangle because my answer is going to be triangle equals something. So I just want to get rid of this 2. If you're trying to multiply, the opposite is divide. 2 to 1. Well, that seems really weird, right? I want the triangle, but in order to get it, I've got to get rid of the numbers. That's how algebra works. Get rid of the numbers. So why 2 divided by 2? Well, 2 divided by 2 is just 1. And like I said before, we don't write ones in this math unless it was like 1 plus. But if it's one triangle, if we were writing one triangle, which is what this equates to, 2 divided by 2 would be one triangle. That's what would be left. But in this math, we don't write the number 1 beside. It's kind of redundant. We don't need it. So I'll choose black again. That means, but hold on a second. I forgot part of my rule here. If I divide this side by 2, I have to divide the other side by 2. You can't just divide one side of the equation. You can't divide the left side by 2 without repeating on the right. 12 divided by 2 is 6. Our answer has to be 6. And we can check that. If this is 6 and this is 6, if blue triangle is 6 and we know that the red circle is 4, let's take a minute, we'll add them up. 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 4 is 16. And hey, look at that. That is the exact same weight as we had on the left side. So the blue triangle has to equal 6. Superstar. You did it.